Welcome, everyone, to the Wednesday night live show. We are back. Mr. Tim is with us. Lindsey is with us. Michelle's with us. And then we have Mr. Nick Orlando is with us. I'm going to get he is the owner and CEO in Infinity Protection, executive director. I'm, give me a break here. Florida Smoke-Free Association, business owner of BOM Liquids, and of course, joining him is Dan Marlin. Dan is the chairman of the board of Florida Smoke-Free Association, corporate advisor of Johnny Cooper Hemp and Vape. And did I miss anything? What else?
Nick, hey Nick, can I brag about you with how much help you're helping me out with?
I don't know. Lindsey froze. There you go. You're back. You're back. I think you're back.
Nick's also with me on THR 101.
Yes, he is. Yes. Lindsey's special.
He's the one that keeps me in check.
Yeah, Lindsey's special. You know that, guys. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get this out. Lindsey's very special because anytime Lindsey freezes, she freezes in the perfect spots. Like when Tim and I freeze, we look stupid.
Yeah, we look. We look like we got slammed up against a glass window.
Michelle, too. It happens to Michelle every time Michelle freezes. It's just these perfect looks. You know, no tongue sticking out, eyeballs bow. You know, just perfect. But, when Tim and I, Jesus. But yes, we got them. I'm not sure. I got a message from Mr. Charles Gardner that he's angry and he wants to be on the show. So I sent him a link. I don't know if he's going to come join us, but we'll see. Hey, when Sir Charles Gardner sends you a DM saying he's angry, you got to send him the link to the show. So
something tells me JG Wentworth screwed him over and he wants to talk about it.
He couldn't get his bagel and he's pissed and he his bagel and lox and cream cheese and he's angry. So he's going to join. He may join us.
The FDA has gone kind of crazy over the past couple of weeks. The world in the morning and like, oh no, here's FDA. We're still coming after you.
Yeah. Well, we have we have an extra person on the show today, so we're not going to spend too much time on how our week is going. So everybody on the panel, look into the camera and say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. I had a great week. Yeah, hey.
How are you?
We're going to jump right over to Tim, and Tim is going to give us our shout-outs.
Our shout-outs. Is that what we call it now? Shout-outs?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically...
We haven't come up with some quippy name for my
I will leave that up to you. I will leave that up to you.
Where I cleverly name everyone.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So, anyway, I'll just real quick. I bought a new vacuum this past week. I got a brand new X11 Omni from Ecovacs, from my favorite robotic vacuum company, and it has an onboard assistant named Eco. So I said, to wake it up, you have to say, okay, Eco, and then she responds. You know what she said? She said, "Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Ecovacs X11 Wednesday Night Live Show." Let's see who's in the chat with us. I know we got some beautiful people already in there. I already seen them. They were chatting like 20 minutes ago. We got Robert, not on a billboard lawyer, in the house. Good to see you, Robert. He said it's raining.
It's raining.
Is it raining, men?
No, not men.
That's the only raining song I know. Singing in the rain. It's coming up with rain.
There you go.
All right. Robert, good to see you. And we got Mallory, do it your damn self. Gates in the house. Good to see you, Mallory. They're talking about how you do it your damn self. They're talking
about your damn self.
They're talking about mixing. They're talking about mixing e-liquid. So that's we got Steve, Emoji King Tottenham in the house. Good to see you, Steve. How are you? Oh, and we got Peggy at Insert Any Other Company you want to. Vape Cats. Peggy's in the house. Good to see you, Peggy. Peggy's in the house.
Peggy.
And we got Dan Marlin on the show and in the chat.
And in the chat.
Double your pleasure with Dan Marlin. Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Double your pleasure.
That's it for right now. We got 13. We got 13 on board, peering in on us, hanging on our every word, John.
Yes, I know. We're going to go right on over to Dan. Dan, we know a lot about Mr. Nick. He's one of our favorite guests on our show. Let's get a little history of Dan, how he got into vaping, into the business, into advocacy. Tell us the story of Dan Marlin.
So back in 2012, I want to say, my son came to me. I was working at as the CEO at a software company in San Francisco, and he wanted to start a vape shop, and specifically to honor his grandmother, because we lost her to smoking. And for me personally, it was a little bit deeper than that, because I lost my grandmother as well. So I lost both of them.
Yeah.
So we started a vape shop. It was good, and we left that one about 2 years later. Started Johnny Copper, and been doing e-liquid and retail ever since.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And you don't have to answer if you can't. Can you talk a little bit more about Johnny Copper's experience with the PMTA?
It's pretty extensive. So I've had to sue the FDA a total of 4 times.
They know you now.
We received our first. I was a part of the first RFA case that kind of went away, and we lost that with Jared. And then I was involved with Nick and a few other plaintiffs against them. We won in the 11th Circuit, where the judges said arbitrary and capricious in their actions and what they had done. And then about 2 years later, FDA decided to issue another marketing denial order to me. And pretty much we've bounced around from the 11th Circuit to the Supreme Court. Now they then kicked it back down to the 11th Circuit, and we're waiting pretty much any day now for the 11th Circuit to issue something. We had to go back 3 times specifically, with replies to the court and FDA's reply. And we have some major points besides just our MDO, and they have to do directly to the Tobacco Control Act. And its legitimacy in regulating vaping products as a whole, the whole process of how FDA they gave themselves permission. We all know the story. They gave themselves permission to regulate vaping products. And so we kind of, because post Chevron, we had an open door. So we've been able to kind of insert a few other things, and we're hoping the court maybe jumps on that. And we'll see what happens.
So, okay, and you don't have to answer this question, but I have to ask it. With all these states that are doing like vapor directory bills, are your products allowed to be permitted because they're kind of in a regulatory limbo, so to speak? No. I mean, they're technically not allowed to be sold, period. Even while I'm suing. We tried to get an immediate stay. That was rejected but that was prior to Chevron being defeated. So we didn't bother to try to get it in, because this court had already ruled that we weren't issued a temporary stay. So now it's just whatever the court does is what the court does. Gotcha. And my own personal shout out, when I was doing Golden Oldies back in 2020, I had a lady from Minnesota that like her favorite flavor was one of your flavors, like she gave a shout out to Johnny Copper, what actual flavor it was, but
that would be Sherry, and that's vanilla bourbon custard. That's her go-to.
Yes, vanilla bourbon custard. Yeah,
sounds good.
That's what I'm vaping on right now.
So,
and Dan, what is it like, working with Mr. Nick Orlando down there? We're all curious.
Nick's been awesome. I mean, listen, we've been like Nick. Nick was in the fight a little bit before me. We've been at this for
Text in the mail, Dan.
Yeah. We've been at this over a decade here in Florida. So,
yes.
We've had our foot in the door per se. for a while fighting this. You know, I'm proud of the fact that over the years that we're 49-0. So, and that's a testament to Nick's hard work and all the other board members who, for the most part, over the years have done this for free. I mean, we're fighting for the people that are trying to remain off of tobacco, our customers, and the pretty much trying to set an example for the rest of the United States. I mean, from a state, we've been blessed enough to have some great people in leadership in Tallahassee and in the State House. And so trying to expand off of that and trying to allow others to see what we do. I mean, there's some great examples, you know, between Tennessee, Texas, and the like, kind of, you know, sinking in what we do and saying, okay, we can kind of do that too, you know? So that's been good. And again, because of Nick's leadership and the rest of the board members, we've been able to do that, and we've been successful, and we're hoping to continue that trend going into this session in January.
Nice.
Hello,
Mr. Nick. Hello, Mr. Nick.
Hey, sorry about the video thing. I don't know. It's probably my black shirt. I don't know what it is.
Nick is in the brick house.
He's a brick.
Talk a little bit about your experiences working with Mr. Dan Marlin up there.
Oh man, I can't. It's unmeasurable to have such a great chairman, right? He supports us in Houston as the executive director with legislative affairs, and we have our board members as well. But Dan, you know, he and the board kind of guide us through and give us all the support we need to get the job done for everybody. Without them and our members, the decision would be nowhere. So thankfully, we have a great board and obviously a chairman to lead us and guide us through the legislative process. And we've been successful. Dan's already told you guys, you know, 49-0. We're going in with some positive legislation going. This year we are retooling that and resubmitting it. We're fortunate enough to have some great sponsors in our state that will push that language forward, and we're hoping to be the blueprint for the rest of the country.
You guys are doing a great job. Okay, even going back to like Senate Bill 10, you know, the flavor ban back in 2020. You know, I mean that would have been for Florida to have that had passed, especially that year. That would have been really would have changed a lot of what happened around the rest of the country and everything. You guys did a really good job with helping to defeat that.
Yeah, Timmy, you got something.
Yeah, now we kind of feel with Texas being.
Nick's got internet issues. Bandwidth.
It's those damn peacocks and alligators.
Yeah. John,
it's freaking, you know, he's got
it's always something here.
It's the sunshine and the alligators.
Wednesday night. So, you know, it's insane. We started early, right? Session starts January.
Yeah.
We're already out meeting with senators, leadership, and House leadership. That's kind of the way you do it, right? And now we feel its issues that Florida has kind of got to take the lead, right?
Right.
I think everybody's looking towards Florida right now. I really do.
Yeah, a little bit, Nick.
Steve says it's the bricks. Maybe the bricks blocking your internet.
Advocacy mission will be getting them to fix the internet down in Florida.
Come on, DeSantis.
They need unlimited bandwidth for Nick. I think that should be the slogan. Unlimited bandwidth for Nick. The question I was going to ask is, with the incredible record that you have of 49-0, I'm, you know, obviously it wasn't a breeze. You didn't just walk right in and you were able to champion all of those successes. Where did you find the most resistance or the toughest challenge in securing those wins? Like who was giving you the most pushback, or what was the toughest challenge that you experienced in that?
It's hard to say, because every session's a little bit different, right? Because between the people behind the scenes, and they all have agendas, and they're all getting contributions from whoever, right? So it may be a retail organization one year, and then the next year it's the Attorney General, which we had with Ashley Moody. We worked really hard on, like Nick had said, this past session would have been the first time that we had our own bill, right? Where we said we're proactive. Man. Now we've tried over the years. We've tried to insert language. We tried to say penalties for youth use, penalties for retailers. Who's going to institute that? Like, restricting it to 21 and over establishments, like alcohol. We think that is a great solution, because but now with the advent of disposables, and now retailers and C-stores being in play, now you have their organizations, which are multi-billion-dollar organizations at the federal level, that are pushing back. I mean, so it's hard to say, like, where. It depends on the session, and it depends on what it is that we're going up against. And to say we could be a week into session, 2 weeks into session, Nick can contest to this, is that then we may have another bill pop up out of the blue, and then then our strategy completely changes, and now we're fighting that.
Yeah, the bill you're talking about too was the HB 1007, right?
Correct,
that is correct. That was implemented in October 1st. I was kind of curious how that has affected you guys in any way, as far as the vape shop difference between you guys and the C stores. I mean, for you guys, the disposables, you guys probably have them in there. They're probably not your big sellers, but they're still relatively available to someone who maybe wants to go down that route first before going into, say, an open system. Has that bill affected you guys in the same way it has affected the C stores?
Nick, you want to grab that?
It has, right? So C stores, and I think I understand this. You kind of blanked out. I'm moving around trying to get Wi-Fi here. Hopefully I'm coming through a little bit. But it affects C stores, but they have a larger impact, if I'm understanding you correctly, with the port issues and the Chinese illicit vape language, whereas we're a little bit better off because we have open systems available.
Correct. Yep.
So it helps us do that conversion process and our narrative to the client. So it's not as impactful. The ports obviously impact everything, right?
Right.
Especially when they were seizing or holding up, slowing down shipments in regards to components, coils, and devices and batteries and such. But it's kind of loosening up a little bit.
Oh, good.
Open systems. The closed systems are becoming a little harder to get now, but I hope I explained it properly. What we saw is the ports were they deployed AI to identify what's called an HS number that all tobacco products got from outside.
Right.
Once it identified it, it put it in a staging area, and it sat there till a person went over and inspected each carton. Those cartons that were deemed Chinese illicit vapes were put off and not shipped. The ones that were open systems, they had to crack open and identify it and then move it on. So it slowed the open system down and shut the disposables down. But that process took forever, and it took a lot of manpower. And then they got ramped up with the $200 million boost they got from the government to be able to do this. And now it seems a little more fluid, but it's not perfect. And now, instead of bouncing around from port to port, they're in every port.
Yeah.
Did that explain? Hopefully I got the question right. And I kind of...
You want to touch on that a little bit, or are you good with that, Dan?
Yeah, that's good.
Did I cover the question?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I'm gonna interrupt though. And also, these guys have been dealing with idiot lawmakers like Representative Tant, who sat there and said last year he's got popcorn in his lungs.
You should open a movie theater.
But in defense of Tant, we were able to swing her.
Yeah.
She voted against us. She didn't vote in our favor, but you guys did meet with her. She's not that completely clueless anymore.
Right. But
but
still, she was open to dialogue and she was open to listen, and that's really all we can ask from any lawmaker.
Yeah,
is to listen to the facts, listen to our story. We're not pushing this on youth. We are in harm reduction to get adults off of deadly tobacco. End of story.
And once we get in the room, it's easy hook because we just go in there and tell the truth. We don't have to lie and bullshit people.
Right.
So it's an easy hook because it's reality, right? It's such an easy story to tell.
Well,
so
then
that's
so
very
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm just saying it was very helpful that you go in and just given the opportunity to speak is a win because once we get in there, it's a closed door. They can't dispute the facts.
Right.
No, they can't. And I like that she was really receptive. It reminds me of Julie Casamiro from Rhode Island, state representative that was pushing for the flavor ban back in 2019. She was getting her butt handed to her on Twitter. So what she do? She shows up at a vape shop, and she and she did way better than Representative Tam. We still got time to convert her and everything. Julie Casamiro went out and actually sponsored legislation in our favor. The Ocean State, of course, it failed, but and it's again a lot of these. It's unfortunate. I mean, a lot of these people don't realize that these state lawmakers, they're part-time legislators. They have everything. No gun powder. One issue to us. There's a million other things going on. So they're just going to get clips or whatnot, and then they're going to run with it, kind of like the lovely Florida woman. He's got popcorn in his lungs. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Timmy, there's a link in the private chat. Can you click that?
I can.
Yeah, and scroll down to
Tim
Florida Smoke Free. The Florida Smoke Free.
I had a question for the boys.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had a question for the boys. So my question was, when you finally get those sit down face to face meetings with these people, I mean, these people are obviously pushing for bans and things like that. But where do you find for them is the largest gap, their naivety? What kind of flips their script in their head? What do they hear when they're like, oh, I had no idea that's what it was all about. I just thought it was these evil gremlins with cartons of nicotine trying to shove it down our kids' throats.
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on it. They're naive, right? They've heard all these bad things in the media. They've heard it from the opposition's lobby teams that get these conversations. And when we go in there and really get down to brass tacks and start talking to them about facts, right? We take some of Lindsey's and THR's information in there, and we walk them through it. We talk to them about, here, put our face with the industry. We're real people. We're here, and we're here to tell you that we've saved tens of thousands of people from combustible tobacco. Yeah. You can't deny that. And we have the facts to prove it. And our own governor saw through that there was a benefit to keep these products around. And we can always hang our hat on that veto letter. But I think our biggest thing is that there's always new legislators, right? In Florida, they term out, we get newbies. So it's important for us, now, to get in a room with them, have those conversations. So when they get approached, last session, we had a freshman senator who was putting forth our bill, and she was approached by the opposition, and they lied to her. So she said, I'll tell you what, can you guys meet me in Tallahassee in my office? And we said, absolutely. I'll take a meeting anytime, anywhere. And she said, okay. So she called them up, and they said they'd do it, and then they declined once they heard we were going to be there because they lied to her, and she caught them. She caught them. So she's sharing that story as, hey, these guys are ready to go, and the guys that are sitting here lobbying us to death are lying because they don't want to be in the same room as these guys because we're telling the truth.
Yeah.
Well, you had, I went, and that's, you're talking about one of the anti-tobacco organizations. last year, for viewers who don't know, like, you know, Florida went through the vape directory. And I mean, remember when I went and I'm like sitting there, you know, like, oh, American Lung Association, Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. They're all sitting here going against these bills. And here comes the freaking sponsor. But that lady, it like brings up these, like, they never contacted me. And it's like, well, what, did your staffers not read, dude? I mean, you're the one sponsoring this fucking legislation. And so, I mean, it's amazing though how quickly, you know, one little thing, you know, can just push legislation forward. And then, you know, it's unfortunate, but good for you guys, and they wouldn't even show up.
Yeah. Thankfully, you know, our bill did get unanimous votes across the Senate this year, right, Dan? It's going to move through, I think, with flying colors based on our conversations. And the guys that wouldn't pick it up to actually have it in committee were told several times to take it off their calendar. And he had openly admitted that in front of a room full of House representatives during our meeting. He said, every time I put it up, it got taken down off my calendar. And they were like, oh, no, that's not happening anymore. I had the Speaker of the House sitting next to me. He's like, that ain't happening. This bill's good. We're going with it.
Tim, you got that article?
I do.
And you just scroll down to the Smoke Free Association president. Who is that guy? Who is that dude?
Some gentleman by the name of Nick Orlando.
Nick Orlando, Mr. Florida.
Is he in trouble?
No, he's not in trouble. He's never in trouble. Unless you're
Is this the Epstein
files?
files?
Mrs. Orlando, you're not in trouble.
Yeah, my name's not on the Epstein file.
Would you like me to read something, John? Is that your ask
you can
right
read
now?
from that part
Would
on.
you like me to start where it says Florida Smoke Free Association president?
That is correct. You can
All right.
start right there.
I'm not going to bother to present.
It's always nice to see someone we know in an article. I kind of like that, you know. So we're gonna, you know, push it out there.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say always.
So I will just eloquently read from this passage. Florida Smoke Free Association president and vape shop owner Nick Orlando, who argued against the FDA standard at committee stops for the legislation in both chambers, commended lawmakers for passing what his organization considers sensible but responsible restrictions, which is what we've kind of been fighting for all along anyway. I mean, no one's trying to, you know, be an a-hole here. In fact, the restrictions in the final version of the legislation are nearly identical to those Orlando suggested at the bill's second Senate stop in February. In quotes, the voices of our members that traveled to Tallahassee to testify on this bill were heard, he said in a statement Monday. The vaping community is grateful to Governor DeSantis and the legislature for this bill that protects vaping options for adults, exempts open systems, regulates bad actors in our industry, and provides an avenue to protect our kids. Would you like me to keep going?
Nah, I'm just praising my good friend, Mr. Nick Orlando there.
We have a new article out that came out, what, yesterday?
What's that, Lindsay?
The op-ed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I'm gonna send it right now. I'm putting it in our group chat. I got like a second. I got like 4 jobs going on now. Okay, so sometimes I can't tell what way is up, and my boyfriend's 1,500 miles away. So
I got 4 jobs.
He can't help too much.
Yeah, bartender.
What kind of a boyfriend is that?
I'm not
Come
talking
on,
about
man.
We don't
So-
talk about the boyfriend.
When you figure it out, you just got to keep the drum beat going, right?
Yeah, well, if
That's
you
it.
don't have time to spend money, you can save a shit ton of money.
So that's another follow-up question for me. So when they have their epiphany, let's call it that, maybe that's what they have, and they see that basically your general argument is, hey, look, all we've ever wanted all along was just sensible regulation, just not over-regulation or bullying to remove this product from the market because it is helping adults. Do they kind of wake up, or you see like a light bulb go on when they're like, hey, okay, we're not these rogue sort of, Wild West people that just want, vape hoodies and grenades that are, open systems. I just feel like their vision is clouded. Like they just very myopic. They don't understand how big the industry really is and how broad it is.
Yes, please. I mean, I got more to add to it. Go, Nick.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I will always go back to like 2018 and I think it was in Indiana, and it was a vape tax bill, and this person presented and they brought out all the different products, the mods, the jewel or whatnot. And you're just watching these lawmakers' eyes kind of bug out. It seems like mostly a lot of times they're just really clueless about all of it. Even just the basic principles of how even a freaking e-cigarette works, at least that's my opinion. Nick and Dan hang out with the lawmakers more than I do. I just send them emails and scream at them on Twitter,
But so when you walk into the room, I mean, it's all, you present yourself. Thankfully, I got a white beard, so they're like, okay, he's not a kid, but sit down and talk. And we talk that, it's yes, the light bulb goes off, and their first response typically is what do you consider reasonable regulation? What solution do you have for us to be able to present as reasonable that will not crush your industry? Mm-hmm. So when we caught on to that, we started pushing language, and Dan and the team were a huge asset in crafting the language for both the House and the Senate. You want reasonable regulation? Here's 2 bills. Go with it. And we hope we don't get pushback. We work for you. Here's the language. Tailor it, take it, enjoy it. Let's go together. Let's make it happen. And thankfully that happened last session. And Lindsey's been a part of it. She's been in these meetings with us. She's come out to some of the events with us where we've met with these legislators. And as I said earlier, with, like the op-ed and things like that, it's a constant drumbeat, but it's also FaceTime. They see us at these events. They see our logos. We've sponsored events here in the state for all the legislators. Our logo's plastered all over the place on several events. And you guys may have seen it, but that's the kind of presence you need. Like, they ask questions. Oh, you're the guys that were at that event. You sponsored X, or you did this, or let's talk about what it is you want to do. Yeah. And, versus just screaming, I saved people, I own a shop, and this is wrong. Right. They want self-policing, and they want the solution. Right. And once you draft that and craft it the way they need to see it, it works out. Yeah. But definitely the light bulb goes off because
the self-policing part is one of the things that kind of bothers me, because you have some states that want to apply with that and say, okay, yeah, we'll leave it up to the federal level and the police, local level law enforcement to do those little raids like they used to do back in the 80s with alcohol, and let the retailers and the shops regulate themselves and be smart about and who they're selling to. I think. For our product, it kind of bothers me that we're that one industry where they don't trust us, but yet they trust every convenience store in the world and bodega to actually sell to a 21-year-old and apply the laws and the fines. But when it comes to vaping, that's never even considered. It's like they almost feel like we can't trust these group of individuals that own vape shops. They're going to break the law. And
because they don't know us, John. They don't until we get out there.
Yeah,
everybody gets in their face and meets them and has reasonable, conversations.
Yeah,
like adults, and sits down and just talks. They don't know who we are, and they, like I said to when I was talking with Tim earlier, it's a constant churn of legislators. Yeah. So it has to be consistent, and thankfully. We've lasted because of our members and our membership and all the funding and support that we get, the 10 years. And obviously, we've stuck around. So these are the same people over and over. And that conversation just happens.
You need to get a condo in Tallahassee. You need to get a condo in Tallahassee and just stay there. To say, tell Mrs. Orlando, I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
2 months, 60 days.
God.
Well, and 2 months
I don't know if she'll let you go for 2 months, but
Well, that's what I was going to say. I just sort of feel like, they're just generally naive because they, mostly probably have the negative people in their ear, kind of feeding them a bunch of stuff, and then they take that at face value, and so then they kind of have a marred impression of what the vape industry is like we're effectively just a bunch of trench coat dealers that are trying to suck their kids into this underworld of horrific proportions, when it was never about the kids in the first place. Like, I don't know where they got that idea that that somehow, and why don't they seem to understand there is a clear line of demarcation between the big tobacco industry, with maybe they're dipping their toes into the vape industry or trying to snuff it out to preserve their own profits. But then we have vehemently said, no, we're not part of big tobacco. We're not in that group. You can't lump us into the same thing. So if your impression is that big tobacco is out there advertising in a way that could appeal to kids or suck them in by virtue of a celebrity face or something like that, like if you go over here, maybe we have some things that we can work on, right? Like maybe those labels shouldn't be so pretty, or that enticing. But I also don't seem to understand why they fail to see the element of an adult that that likes things that maybe a kid might also like. I mean, we were kids once too, but but just flavors as a general piece of evidence. I mean, we all love to go out and get something that tastes great, a drink, a soda that why is it that adults have to have a very unique flavor profile that's so starkly different from what a kid might I like Snickers as much as the 10-year-old down the street. You know what I mean?
Michelle,
we talk about those things.
No, I'm kidding.
When we talk about those things, we talk about things as simple as aesthetic looks of, say, single-use disposable products, or even the refillables. They're like, it's kid appealing, it's child appealing. We're like, look at your cell phone. Your case has bling on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And things like that.
Hey, Nick, as he's playing Candy Crush, he's telling you that that flavor is too childish.
but also in the same conversation, we're also mentioning, and this is all related to everything we're talking about, which is FDA's inability to properly regulate the vape market.
Exactly.
There's a question now. Thank you, Dan, because this is where the FDA is scaring the living shit out of me right now. They're still bringing up youth vaping epidemic, and that's under it's under Trump's FDA. The Biden FDA, Brian King sat there and said they quit using that term. Now here comes me and everything. But this is where the FDA right now, almost like under Brian King, it was kind of scary because it wasn't acting like a regulator. It was acting more like tobacco control, and stuff. And now at this point, this is acting like a regulator and also pimping out certain companies.
It's
fast tracking fucking nicotine pouches. And sorry for my language, but it just pisses me off. I mean, I helped a bunch of people do their PMTAs back in 2020, and there's millions of bugs that got MDOs. And so now, like 5 years later, under this, we're gonna go on to this, and we're gonna justify this because there's a youth vaping epidemic, even though use of e-cigarettes is at its lowest level in 10 decades, and we're ignoring the data, all because and don't get me wrong, tobacco companies have a right to be pissed off about this one. I mean, they spent billions of dollars on their applications, they're losing cigarette sales and everything. But at the same time, it's a fucking mess. I mean, and
that's selective. With selective approvals, selective enforcement, and that covered that in that op-ed from the opinion pages, that it's just selective. And Dan and I, in our case, along with others here in the 11th District Court of Appeals, we proved that, and they proved it in the 5th. And we're thankfully that we can use that here in our state, that, hey, our own 11th Circuit Court of Appeals said they were wrong. They're flawed. They threw the FDA PMTA process down the road and said they never gave us any real achievable regulatory framework.
Yeah.
And we're going back in against regulatory framework, RFA against the FDA. So we're getting them back in the federal level right now as we speak. We went back after them. Yeah. So,
I threw this question out to Nick, and I'm kind of curious to get your answer on this one too, Dan, and Nick. Now, especially, times have changed since the last time I've asked you this question, but have you gotten? We talk about your playbook and how things are done in Florida with your advocacy group, and how you guys approach, your city councilmen, your senators, your congressmen, your governor. Have you guys been? Has any other states or vape advocacy groups approached you guys to kind of help them better understand how to go about what you guys are doing and the success that you guys are having there? And I know, like I've had one person say to me about Florida, and they talk about it as like a chessboard, and that all your pieces are set. They're perfect. You have the right mayor, you have the right governors, you have the right mayors in these cities, you have the right councilmen in these cities to kind of help you with your cause. Do you feel like that's one of the things other states have issues with, having the wrong governor, having the wrong senators, having the wrong congressmen in there, having the wrong mayors? So when you do get approached by these other cities or states that are going through this battle, what do you tell them, and how do you help them better understand how to go about it?
So I'll go, Dan. I'll just go first because my brain's going and I'll forget. So, John, we can easily hang our hat and say that we have bad governors or good governors.
Right.
We have built that relationship from zero.
Exactly.
Okay. This is a bipartisan issue. So there is no bad and good governor.
Right.
There's you doing the job it takes to get it done, and educating and informing and being engaged and being in their face. It takes a lot of time. Okay. It takes, and I'm just going to be honest. I mean, it takes a lot out of what I do and what Dan does and everybody on the board to drop everything and go to a meeting. Last week, I left here 2 days and drove 4 hours one way, met for 2 hours, and drove 4 hours back to Miami. We do that to Tallahassee. If you're not that person that's willing to step up and do it, and states don't have those people, you're not going to go far. Either pay somebody, collect a paycheck, get out, drive funds. You've got to do this. And it took us a long time to get there. I mean, we've been around since 2014. We didn't know. I'm just a shop owner. I don't know how to do this crap. But I learned as time went on that, number one, nobody else is going to do it, so we have to do it as a group.
Exactly.
There is a group of people that fund the organization, our members. Without them people, we don't get the job done. And we have to go have these conversations whenever, not just the 60 days during session, not just every other year during session. It's a 365. We pay our lobbyists 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and we have to be available when they say, can you be in Tallahassee tomorrow? I got to drop everything and go. If you're not that type of person, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
And you can say our governor is not this, or our city council is not this. You've got to get there and deliver the message. There is you didn't walk into a situation, and again, I'll go back to every year we change legislators. So every year we start over.
Right.
It's not like the perfect chess pieces. They don't stay there.
Yeah, exactly. It was what I told him.
2 years you start over, but
So what did I do
exactly
now?
what I told him, because
I've got a new governor coming in. I've already laid the bricks for our new governor, no matter who it is.
Yeah.
I've got the bricks laid. Dan and
you know who it's gonna be, baby. You know who it's gonna be.
Well, that's another benefit, because we're so linked up. We know who it's going to be. I mean, so that's kind of like you lay those bricks before it's too late. You've got to be in their face talking about it. I can't stress it enough. And when other groups call me, we've helped in groups. I'll be perfectly honest. We helped groups last year to be able to tailor what they needed to get tailored. Did we go out and say it? No. But they'll tell you. They know they called us up and we helped them tailor whatever they needed to tailor. We told them how to navigate. We helped them out. That's what we're here to do. Whenever they reach out, we're here. I'm willing to help anybody and everybody. I'll go to a state. I don't give a damn. But they got to have the proper bricks laid to be able to present this to the bad governors, to the good governors, to whatever.
Yep.
They're going to listen. This is bipartisan. This is public health. This is
exactly
Republican or Democrat or whatever the hell, fluffy fluff or whatever. This is real shit. Like, this is public health. You got to listen, but you have to have the relationship. And these guys that hire these lobbyists every other year, it's never going to work. You're not going to be able to hire a lobbyist and then push it through, and then nothing happens, and a bad bill comes up, and then you go hire a lobbyist again.
Yeah, I think you touched upon the lobbyist, and I think that's one of the things I think that it kind of hurts us, because you have someone that's there representing an industry that may not understand how an open system works, may not understand what a coil is, or what the ingredients are to our e-liquids. So exactly what you're saying. Being there and letting these people understand how this system works and the benefits of this system it's coming from a shop owner or an advocate that is part of the whole system. And I think it's important than just having some guy in a 3-piece suit there who can't answer a question.
And we're just giving them money. And our lobby team can talk the talk. They know the products, open system, closed system, e-liquid, coil, this, that. They know what's going on. We're in the loop because we pay them every month. Yeah. And it's like we're constant conversations. When you drop that and you don't pay them, that's their job, right? Lobbyists they're not stakeholders. They could give two damns about you. Exactly. If you're not paying them, they're not listening. So you got to keep them on the payroll. So you got to educate them. So when they go to coffee with a legislator about another topic, they might ask, hey, you represent Florida Smoke Free. Tell me about, that bill, or tell me about this. They have that conversation because we pay them. They work for us. Yeah. Right. And if we take it as we work for them, or they're going to do us a favor, that is never going to happen. They're never going to do you a favor.
Yeah.
No, they're lobbyists.
Go ahead, Dan.
No, and to Nick's point, which is specifically, it doesn't stop. Yeah. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So the session may end, but we're already strategizing, even during session, the last days of session, for the next session. Oh, well, that went well. That didn't go well. This is what we should do. What pans out afterwards is where we kind of strategize where we're heading during the course of the year. So my advice to any state leader is exactly what Nick just said. Vigilance. Be on top of it. Be on top of your legislators. Be on top of bills. Be on top of the industry. Understand what your fight is and how you go about it, and have great teams and great people on board, and creating state associations and memberships, and because we represent those people. Whether it's a convenience store, a C-store, a gas station, a vape shop, a smoke shop, or any other place that sells our products that's regulated, we represent them. We represent more the people that actually pay and contribute to our efforts, because they're the ones that are paying the bills. So,
and that's the thing I think people don't need to understand is, Florida Smoke Free at one point didn't have a large membership, and the wins and what you guys have done over the years has brought in more memberships, because they see the wins, they see the hard work that you guys are putting into it, and you're showing up in Tallahassee, you're doing things that need to be done, and you're representing them. And I think, with the current times, say the last couple months, and seeing how, I hate bringing this up, but seeing how some other advocacy groups have just been taking money and doing squat with it, and to benefit not just the industry, but the members themselves. So it's nice to see, you guys coming out here and saying 49-0. I mean, that sends a clear message to everyone else. This system here in Florida is working, and this is why it's working. Maybe we should go sit down with Nick and Dan and the rest of the members and board members of Florida Smoke Free Association and figure out what their game plan has been. And for me, I don't know. I'm not speaking for you guys. I don't know if that's been happening here more and more lately, but it would seem like other states should be making a phone call to Mr. Nick Orlando and Dan and the rest of the board members and saying, hey, can we sit down with you and figure out your playbook and how this playbook is going to help us and what we can do better? And that's what I want to see, because I think the consumer wants to see that now. The consumer that is purchasing these products and wants to be part of an advocacy group, wants to make sure what they're contributing is actually being used for the proper thing and not just administration costs. Because right now, that seems to be a huge problem, and not just in our industry, but with other groups that are trying to get money for, burn victims in California, where money is disappearing and is being given out to groups that belong to wives and friends and family. So, that's where I think we've gotten to that point here now, where people that want to contribute to GoFundMe programs or advocacy programs, whether it's vaping or something else, wants to make sure that money isn't paying some CEO, to have his lavish lifestyle. And it's awesome to see that, what you guys are doing there in Florida is working, and the money that's going into making sure Florida Smoke Free Association stays up and running is being used properly. And I applaud you guys.
Can I add to that, by the way?
We're stakeholders, right? So it changes a lot of things when you're a stakeholder.
Yeah.
Leadership in an organization should be a stakeholder because we're vested, right? And I think that goes a long way. But I just need to note one thing, and Lindsey, I'm sorry, but when we're talking about where Florida is today, we haven't always been here. We've taken our lumps, right? We actually changed lobby teams, and where we are today isn't where we've always been. We didn't have the top-ranked lobby team that we have today. We now have the third ranked in the state only because 1 and 2 had conflicts. And our other lobby team is the recently promoted, the executive director of the RPOF and the chairman of the board of the RPOF. So the lobby team we have, it's the father of a senator and a Democratic one at that. So we've kind of evolved to that now. So it didn't start out that way because that's a substantial monthly bill. Yep. And without membership, we can't pay that and we lose. We just fold up and we're done. So that needs to be noted because when you're starting out, you have to have that strong core, but they got to be willing to get to that level. We had to let go one of our teams that we had for 8 years because we reached that plateau. And Lindsey will tell you, and Dan will tell you, and some others in the group. I see Brady Bates is in there and Peggy. We've gone to these events that we were invited to by the RPOF leaders that you don't just get invites to. I mean, we went to several events that multiple federal and state, and sometimes the soon-to-be Prime Minister of the UK was there, and we got to have conversations with these people. But that's where we are today. But you got to start somewhere, and you got to start quick. Otherwise, that never happens.
Yeah.
And to Nick's point, it rightfully so, and it's at the right time, because the fight we have isn't just, not to change subjects, isn't at the state level; it's at the federal level. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's only so much we can do in the state of Florida versus that of the federal government coming in and stepping on our businesses, where there is no notification of enforcement action, and because FDA holds the card of discretionary enforcement action, they have that card in their hand. So all of our products are illegal in topic.
Yeah, do the quotation mark.
In topic, that they're illegal. But the truth is, for a decade, FDA hasn't enforced that, and they've allowed these products to be on the market. And again, I go back to my point earlier, is that FDA has failed at properly regulating vaping products, and everything we're dealing with at the state level, at the federal level, is because FDA just passed the ball and had a bunch of people that just...
They created this, Dan. They created this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the Tobacco Control Act, you guys read my op-ed, okay? You know, Tobacco Control Act, they sat there and said it, like RJ Reynolds sat there and said in 2009 that this was going to favor Philip Morris. And if you look at all the products that have been authorized, the 81 products that have went through the PMTA pathway, 44.4% of them are Philip fucking Morris, okay? Yeah. So, I mean, they have a stranglehold on it. And speaking of that, I got to do comments, Nick, actually, for THR 101 that they're due tomorrow. But I wanted to really give a shout out to you guys because what really bothers me a lot with advocacy has always been this 13th hour or 11th hour. You know, we're gonna go and play defense, and you know, Florida Smoke Free Association has done such a good job playing offense and actually moving the ball forward and not just doing a dance in the end zone when the other side fumbles. And that's really, you guys need to be proud of yourselves for that. I still think we have a long way of work to go in the Sunshine State, and stuff, but it's not, like the 5 states that have flavor bans. Even the vape directory bill is not really being that much enforced like it is in other states. And everything, but I do really appreciate all the work you guys do in the off, the off season and everything. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Lindsey.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Lindsey. I didn't do anything, but
man, is that Kim Schilling, by the way? Is that Kim Schilling? I think it is Kim Schilling. Kim Schilling, you're a saint yourself, okay? And if you're running, Michigan by yourself, just let me know what you need from me.
Yeah. Lindsey's there. All right. I'm going to ask you a silly question here. Silly question, Dan. We used to do these before, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to open this. But number one question, look, Nick's laughing. He knows what's coming right here.
I have no idea what's coming.
Very important. You may piss off half this panel and then half the people out there. But here you go. You ready, Dan? Yeah,
go.
Here you go, Dan. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no, Dan?
Oh, man. As a Jersey Italian, my heart says no, but my tongue...
Stop right there. Stop. That's good. Good answer. Good answer.
As a Jersey Italian, my heart
says answer. No. Good answer. No but. Good answer.
Good answer. You're safe. You made half the panel happy.
You get to stay chairman for another year.
There it is.
Dan, do you remember your first job? And did you quit or get fired?
I got fired. making $1.10 an hour, sweeping sand from a beach, I don't know, I guess resort thingy for Spring Lake Heights, New Jersey. They had these little alcoves you could rent like a room, and my job was to sweep them out and get all the sand that when people would come in the changing rooms and go in the pool. And I hated that job. Oh my God.
$1 an hour. I thought you were test driving the Model T. But...
No. And here it is. I was 13 years old, taking a bus. I had to take my skateboard to the beach, take the bus along the beach to the job at 13 years old, and only because I knew the bus driver. He was my next door neighbor, and after like 2 months of the job, I said, and then my first paycheck. Never forget that. It was like $30 after, and that was my first exposure to taxes. Like, what's taxes? Like, what is this? Why am I work my butt off sweeping their sand, and I got $30 for that? I was like, yeah, no. I said to my mom, I was like, I can't do this. After like a week, I said I can't do it, but I stuck it in for about 2 months, and then I ended up quitting.
What's tax?
Yeah,
What's
I remember
tax?
that experience too. I said the same thing to my dad when I saw my check. I go, "What is all this tax stuff, Dad?" He
Yeah.
goes, "Get used to it, son. Get used to it."
Yeah.
Death and taxes, the one things you got to look forward to for the rest of your life.
Yeah, yeah. That's when I discovered getting paid under the table.
Right.
Right.
Waiting tables,
Right.
yeah. Bartending and waitressing jobs, awesome. But now they're trying to crack down on that, you know.
And you let on a little secret about being a DJ earlier. So this is your last question. What is the
Go ahead.
first song Dan learned all the words to? And now we're not talking about nursery rhyme songs. We're talking about like something you heard on the radio. What was the first song you learned all the words to? And you ready?
Yeah.
Can you sing a few bars of it?
Well, it's not. It's a two-sided story. It's a song that I used to think the words was "Do the hot dog,"
I know what song you're talking about.
and it was "Do the hustle." So that's the whole lyrics. That's it. And I thought when I was a kid that it was "Do the hot dog."
Do the hot dog.
Do the
I
hot
actually
dog.
like it now. It's with a hot dog. Yeah.
So there's no lyrics to the song, but I think it was like 2 years later where I finally learned that it was the hustle. I was like, damn, I've been singing it wrong for this long.
That's yeah. There's quite a few. Tim will agree. There's quite a few songs that you go, huh?
Yeah, that one about wrapped up like a deuce.
Yeah.
Ripped up like a dude.
Manfred Mann, I believe. Is it Manfred Mann?
Manfred Mann, yeah. Manfred Mann.
So I had a flashback moment just yesterday. We had to go pick up our wine for our wine club, and they were at this farmer's market. So the shop was closed. So we went over to the farmer's market, and they were playing music as we were walking through the farmer's market. And my flashback moment, that the Greatest American Hero song was playing.
Great song.
So of course I had to sing it for my wife, so she understood that I was.
You weren't going crazy.
I had that much of a memory to remember all the words to the song.
There are those songs where you hear it and you can't help but start to sing. I mean, there's it doesn't matter where you're at. You can be in the car at the light or standing in line at the bank, and you hear that song playing, and then you start singing it, and people are turning around like, really? You know?
like Steve said in the chat, tequila.
Yeah, that one gets you. As long as you can sing it, is just as long as you're not doing the Pee Wee Herman dance while you're singing it, you should be okay.
That's just like a natural thing, though. Like if the tequila song comes on, I don't think that there's an individual on the planet that doesn't start doing the Pee Wee Herman dance when I hear that song.
God bless Paul Rubens.
No, Gen Zer guys, okay? They don't even know that song, all right?
Yeah.
You know, so,
they don't know what a rotary phone is, so they're forgiven.
They don't know what a pencil sharpener is. Do they even have pencils in classrooms anymore?
I used one today.
They have one at the part-time job that I'm working at. I was like, dude, it's been like freaking 3 decades since I've seen one of these, you know, old school, like the pencil sharpeners that are on the wall. I was just like, holy flashback. Okay. I'm looking at a liquor store. So liquor store and bar. And handing out products through the drive-through. Hey, I'm still supporting harm reduction, y'all. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so
actually, I'm gonna throw out a couple more questions for you, Dan, because this is one of our. We used to always do this with a new guest, so you already did that one. If Dan was arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family assume you've done?
Wow. It would probably have to be a driving related charge because sometimes I'm a little heavy.
You did say you were from Jersey, so I
am
understand.
Jersey. Yeah. Florida drivers drive me insane. Yeah.
They're terrible.
I'm from South Philly, originally from South Philly, so I know all about you Jersey people.
I know the Philly drivers.
Well, Dan, you're from the eastern part of the state, though, right?
Monmouth County. So along the Jersey Shore. Yeah. Near Blamire.
No, in Florida. You're like more towards like the northeast, right?
South of Jacksonville.
Dan was on the Jersey Shore. He was Jim Can Laundry guy.
Yeah. If Dan had an hour all by himself in the White House, what would Dan do?
I would school our president on harm reduction and the industry and dispel the lies of big tobacco and tell him specifically that FDA is corrupt 10 layers deep.
I have a gift for this. I have to find it, but
same figure, new figurehead, same thing. But the people that are still in play, are the same people that have been there since Obama and pre-Obama, and they're still running the show.
Well, the Food and Drug Cosmetic Act came out in the 20s. In the 1920s. It's archaic, unresponsive, and it was designed to stop the snake oil salesmen or whatnot. Now it props up snake oil salesmen. Free karma, baby.
Yeah. If Dan could put any franchise restaurant in his house, in your house, so it's there 24/7.
Oh shit!
Which one is it?
Damn. That's another good one. Steak and Shake, and that's literally only because of what they've been doing on social media for the past few months, blasting Cracker Barrel and switching to tallow in their fries, and really showing how it's done. And I would right now, I would say Steak and Shake. I haven't had
first job.
Right.
My parents managed Steak and Shakes when I was 7. So my dad would have me wait tables when I was 7 years old, up in Michigan and everything. So I love a Steak and Shake, and I love that they're in Florida. I just don't like I prefer the ones that they still have waitresses at.
Lindsey, he had me at steak. He did steak.
I mean, besides that, it would be Waffle House because it's
Waffle House. Yeah,
it's Waffle House. You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You can always have entertainment. You can get rid of your cable at that point.
All right, Dan, your last question, and this is one of those questions that may anger some people and may not.
Here we go.
This is a vape show, so the question is about flavors. If you could remove one popular flavor, which one would you remove?
I know which one I would say.
I would say too.
Hey, Dan, hint, Dan, don't say mango.
Yeah, say mango. Say mango.
I'll say unicorn poop.
Guava.
Okay, you say it with guava.
Guava. To me, no offense to anybody who likes guava, but when I smell it in an e-liquid, for me and my schnoz, it smells like cat urine.
That's usually what they say about mango.
Yeah.
Well, mango's the second to guava, but mango, there's some really good mangoes out there. Capella mango. If you're an e-liquid, Capella mango is.
I don't remember your answer to that question. What was your answer to that question?
It was mango because it smells like a mango.
Yeah, I know it was. I remember. I was just
Nailed gym socks. I hear that one too.
And for those out there, I'm going to try something. Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Tu parlo italiano?
No, a little.
Okay.
Grandma would speak it to me. I tell the story all the time about Grandma. She could speak 7 languages.
Oh, wow.
But she would only speak English.
Yeah.
She would curse in Yiddish, Italian, and Spanish.
At the same time.
I love her.
Now, I mean, except depending upon the situation, she would do it differently. But yeah, she would.
What's the Yiddish version of mierda?
I don't know.
Blamire to shit, you know, okay?
Oh.
It's okay. It's everything sounds
Actually,
better.
I take it back. I got one last question for you
Yeah.
because it's a big one.
Yeah.
The first poster on the wall as a teenager was
Rolling Stones concert with the big lips. It was their I think their 76 or 78 tour. I think it was.
I think I had the same poster.
Yeah, had that. And then the other one would have been Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett in
swimsuit.
Farrah Fawcett.
Everybody had that one poster.
Had that Farrah Fawcett poster. Between the two, had them on my wall. In fact, I have a picture somewhere with it on my wall.
With that, yeah. I have one with Farrah, a picture of someone with Farrah and Bruce Lee. I don't know why those two went together in the 80s, but it was Farrah Fawcett and Bruce Lee doing nunchucks right next to each other. All right, before we head on out, I'm going to start with Nick. Nick, a little word of wisdom for the advocacy groups out there, and go.
Little word of wisdom for everybody. Hang in there.
Everybody.
We have to outlast them. And when we do, good things are coming. Let's remember there's a lot of Florida people in DC, and we are working those angles. So stay tuned for some exciting stuff.
And Dan?
I would just say, like Nick, stay vigilant. Post your voice. Make your voice be heard on X. Tag the president. Tag Makari. Tag Bondi. Tag Kennedy. Tag all of them. Let them know what you think. You go to a local shop. You can't get this product anymore because of XYZ or delays. Make your voice be heard. And I would trickle that down and just really get the word out that we're under attack, and we need to stay vigilant and just know what's going on. And for the shop owners, the same thing as well. You know, we need them to kind of join the state orgs. We need them to fight along with the state orgs to be able to make a dent and a hole. So hopefully at the federal level, we get our voices heard. And so there is some of that going on right now, you know, between, I know Tristan at the Vaping Legion, what he's done, and others that are trying to get White House attention. So I would just say continue to do that.
And one more here, last question, because this one gets asked to me a lot, and I feel you two guys should be able to answer this question and help these individuals out. The fear that goes along with trying to make an appointment with these people, whether it's the local level, the federal level, what words of wisdom or advice could you give these people to let them better understand that these are just individuals? They're just regular people that we elected. So how do you go about helping someone get over that fear of meeting with a city councilman, with a mayor, with a senator or a congressman?
Are you asking them? Because I'm going to answer this one myself. They all have to take their pants off and sit down to take a dump, the same way that we all have to. Sorry.
But the other thing is keep in mind that these are mostly elected officials, and they work for you.
Yes.
And if you get that in your head,
right, and
they're willing to accept a meeting, there's a reason why you're supposed to be there. To convey the message that you know your industry, and you know this business, and you know what this product has done for you. So it's a very simple share, because you're not having to craft up some story in your head or some lie. Just go in there and tell the truth. And remember that, number one, if they're taking the meeting, they want you there. You're here. Number two, they work for you.
Yep.
And sending the message is key, because that's kind of what we have to do. That's what we do, federal, state, I mean, whatever level we need to. I am not a very good public speaker. I'm really a shy person, but
you do great when you're speaking in front of the committee.
Exactly.
Nick, or what are you fucking talking about? But I understand, okay? You hate it.
I'm shy. I don't like going up and talking to people, but it has to be done. So, thank you.
Yeah. And
let's remember, The other key there is to go visit THR 101, contribute, get that money going there, and get the facts right from their website.
Right.
And you'll be really comfortable if reviewing that. You'll be able to see the facts before you walk into those meetings. You'll have that confidence about you.
Yeah.
Right.
Be prepared. Be prepared.
Absolutely.
How about you, Dan? How do you help someone get over that fear of actually sitting down with the congressman and state assemblyman?
Just know that they're here, and like Nick said, they want you there. They want to listen to you, and that's what we found is that really there's not really a wall there. They'll engage you. They're politicians at the end of the day, right? Whether they're local or state. But if you can get past that and you can speak and tell your story, that's the most important thing. And the person will feel better about it, they made an effort, and you don't know the impact that you may have on a lawmaker, a councilman, or a mayor. You don't know what that impact, your story may be the turning of the tide for that individual. So it's just important. The effort is worth it, and there is no real issues when you go and talk to them. So if someone just takes it out of their mind and they're just talking to their best friend or their a loved one, then it just makes that conversation easier. And no one's been really combative with us.
You said the wall. The wall's here. This is where the wall is. Yep. There is no real wall in that conversation. Correct. It's all in our heads. It'll be your first time. It'll get more comfortable. And as you get the facts from a very reputable website, THR 101, you'll be able to walk into those meetings with real facts. Right. And then that wall goes away because the wall's in our heads. We don't, that's where it's created. We're timid or we've never done it before. Start small. Go to a city council meeting. Start there.
Yeah.
Or you can go to a school board meeting if they're sitting here, you guys kind of to give our viewers a little bit of an example. I mean, what you guys did with Representative Tant last year, she sat there and made this comment. I probably helped a little bit with that, with putting her ass up on Twitter and that, stuff. Yeah. But you guys have a photo op with her, 2 weeks later, you were able to secure a meeting with her. And I'm pretty sure she's never going to bring up he's got popcorn in his lungs, ever again. But I mean, and that's that was an adversarial one. You were able to go have that meeting. Again, there is no wall between these people. Will always take the meetings with you. In my opinion, I always hated testifying in front of committees. 2 minutes or less, and you gotta.
That's stressful. That is stressful though, because you only got 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then
if they let you. If they let you have two.
If they let you. And it's
if you're not interrupted as well.
Right, because you have to be prepared. You'll have this long piece of paper with everything you want to say, and then you have to condense it down to that, right?
Yeah. And then you have to also make sure that you don't repeat exactly what somebody else has said there. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, you start highlighting the things that you don't want to say because it's already been said. Yeah, it's like, okay, can't say that. But you're right, Nick. I mean, starting at your local level is going to help you because these are people that are in your community. When you're going to speak to someone that's in the city councilman in your city, it's usually someone that owns a business that's out there who's been part of the community for years, has lived in your location. He's probably your fucking neighbor. He could be your friggin' neighbor. So it should help. But you're right, exactly. Start local and work your way up, but don't stop and be prepared every time you go into these meetings. And that's what I tell everybody all the time: have your stats, have your links that you can share with this person. Give him the ability to do some research himself, because, and again, we know that they have people that do that for them, but at least you've gotten that information out there and you give them other sources to look into, and not just having big tobacco or somebody else in their ear. This is bad. It's going to kill them. You're going to get popcorn on. You're going to be impotent. All these hair loss, all this nonsense that's going through their head, Hey, I want to thank Mr. Dan for joining us. We appreciate you. Are always welcome.
Appreciate you having me.
Sorry.
Always welcome.
That's okay, Lindsey.
Nick, it's been way too fucking long since we've had you on the show. We need to change that.
Hey, we've been running around like crazy people, man.
What I do is I go to Nick's Facebook page and I see where Nick is at, and I go, okay, all right, Nick, can't get Nick on. He's either in a car. Hey, this is the dedication that Nick has had to this show. He's done this show from his backyard, from his house, inside a car, then transferred to another car and continued the show. I mean, Nick is dedicated to coming on here. He finds a way.
Was waiting for the episode in the pool with the alligator.
We're gonna get that one. We're gonna get or Nick actually Nick, yeah, Nick actually wrestling an alligator while doing the show. That's coming.
Yeah. You'd have to make him the Florida smoke-free mascot at that point, you know.
Again, thank you, Dan, for joining us. Thank you, Nick, for being here. Tim, Lindsey, and Michelle, thank you. And everybody in chat, we always appreciate seeing you guys in the chat. We will see everybody next week. Everybody, look into your cameras and wave goodbye to everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.